teased gently as tears began to spill down her cheeks. Jonna launched herself at him, throwing her arms tightly around his neck. "Happy birthday," Jack whispered into her hair, holding her close. Downstairs in bed, Stanley Roper was staring at the ceiling, still traumatized by the evening's events. "Oi, Helen, the kids today are getting wilder and wilder," Stanley mumbled into the darkness. "Not like when we were young. How long did we go together before I tried anything?" Helen turned over, adjusting her pillow. "Well, let me see now," she mused. "I think we were married about 2 years. Chapter 5. The Sleepwalker and the Stray. The next morning, the California sun was bright and unforgiving, completely indifferent to the hangovers or emotional exhaustion of the residents of Santa Monica. In apartment 201, Jonna was sitting on the newly acquired and slightly lumpy sofa, engrossed in a paperback novel with a lurid, brightly colored cover. Jack emerged from his bedroom, a towel draped around his neck, looking surprisingly energetic. "Oh, hey, Jonna, come on in for a second, will you?" he called out, heading toward the kitchen. Jonna marked her page and wandered in. "Sure. You know, I finished that spicy book you gave me to read." "That was quick," Jack laughed, pouring a cup of coffee. "I just gave it to you yesterday." "Yeah, well, I'm no fool. I went straight for the pages with the corners turned down." They both laughed, the tension of the previous night entirely forgotten. The bond between the three roommates was remarkably resilient, built on a foundation of shared poverty and genuine affection. Downstairs, the atmosphere was, as usual, less harmonious. Helen Roper was humming to herself as she dusted the living room, trying to ignore Stanley, who was grumbling over the morning paper. "I haven't spoken to a soul in this whole day," Helen complained to the empty room, looking toward the ceiling as if hoping for divine intervention, or at least a visit from Jack. "Well, what about Mr. Roper? Him? Huh? All I get from him is one grunt for yes, 2 grunts for no, and a burp when he wants his dinner." Stanley let out a grunt from behind the sports section. "That's all I've gotten for 20 years, Helen sighed, leaning on her duster. "Well, almost. It'll be 20 years. Stanley lowered the paper, his brow furrowed in confusion. "Your anniversary?" "Yeah," Helen said, her voice tinged with a tragic sort of hopefulness. "Oh, wow, how great. Are you gonna see a show or anything?" She mocked, playing both parts of the conversation. "Oh, yes, yes. We'll see a show. All right." Beretta followed by Charlie's Angels. "This is our social calendar." Stanley missed the sarcasm entirely. "You won't even remember it's our anniversary." "Oh, I can't imagine anybody forgetting a thing like that," Helen muttered, walking into the kitchen. Later that afternoon, Stanley returned from a rare trip to the doctor, looking thoroughly displeased. "Stupid doctor. That stupid doctor," he muttered, throwing his keys onto the credenza. Helen looked up from her magazine. "Stanley, what happened?" He said I was in perfect shape. "Isn't that good?" not to Stanley. Helen said to the room at large. When he goes for a checkup, he thinks he's wasting his money unless the doctor finds something wrong with him. There's plenty wrong with me. Stanley argued defensively. I can't argue with that. Stanley rubbed his jaw, clearly distressed. Did you tell him about your pain? Helen asked, trying to sound sympathetic. No, we didn't talk about you. Helen narrowed her eyes. Oh, by the way, your wife was just telling me that day after tomorrow is a very special day, Stanley said suddenly, changing the subject with all the subtlety of a freight train. Special. Wednesday. Beretta. Charlie's angel. Before Helen could berate him for his utter lack of romance, Stanley held up a hand. Oh, hold it, hold it, hold it. I want you to talk to your roommate Chrissy and warn her. Upstairs, the conversation had taken a bizarre turn. Jack and Jana were staring at Chrissy, who was currently wrapped in a blanket on the sofa, looking deeply embarrassed. Okay, about what? Jana had asked Jack, who had just relayed a message from Roper. Well, I was looking out this window about 3 o'clock in the morning, Jack explained, mimicking Roper's voice, and I saw her walking around half naked in her nightgown. What? Jana gasped. Oh, my God. She's sleepwalking again, Jack diagnosed. Sleepwalking? Huh. This is a decent neighborhood, Jack continued in his Roper impression. Now, if she wants to walk in her sleep, you tell her to get dressed before going to bed. Jana rolled her eyes. That's a brilliant idea. All right, Stanley, how did you just happen to be peeping out the window at 3 o'clock in the morning? Chrissy groaned, hiding her face in her hands. I walked out on the street in my nightie. Oh, Jana, I am so embarrassed. Oh, hey, forget embarrassed, Jana said gently, sitting beside her. I'm just glad that you weren't hurt, that's all. Now, Chrissy, what's making you walk in your sleep this time? Chrissy, what's bothering you? What's wrong? Chrissy sighed heavily. Oh, it must be Mr. Rogers. His secretary's out sick, and I'm substituting for her this week. Oh, is he giving you a rough time? Oh, I just can't keep up with him. He dictates too fast, Jana asked sympathetically. Oh, it's not his dictation, Chrissy shuddered. It's his hands. The girls in the office call him Christopher Columbus. What? The explorer. Jana grimaced. Hey, why don't you complain to his boss? He is the boss. You have got a problem. Jack, who had been listening from the kitchen counter, walked over. Yeah, the one thing I'm concerned about with now is the sleepwalking. Though, how long has this been going on? Jack asked. Oh, well, it started when I was a kid, Chrissy explained, her voice small. You know, it wasn't easy being a minister's daughter. I had to be the best in school, the best in Bible class. When I couldn't do that, I got so nervous, I started walking in my sleep. Jack's face softened with a rare display of paternal concern. Well, just relax, he said, heading for the door. I've got something that will take your mind off it. I'll be right back." 20 minutes later, Jack returned. He walked into the apartment with his jacket zipped up awkwardly high. "I wonder what he's up to this time," Jonna muttered. Jack unzipped his jacket